Test, test, test.
Test, test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Is it okay? You want me to talk more? Okay. Okay, we're about to start our meeting, but just before we start, I just want to let everyone know that Debbie's not here tonight. Turns in the hospital right now dealing with kidney stones. So please keep her in your prayers. Right, here we go. Now 6 o'clock, we're going to start our Thursday, October 9th regular board meeting. And the first item is our invocation and pledge allegiance. Please stand. Men, please remove your hats. Our Father in heaven, we give you all praise and thanksgiving. We thank you for another beautiful day in Holiday Park. We come together today in the hope of betterment of our park community. We ask for your blessings on all of our residents and those visiting. We thank you for all those present at our meeting and for all those who are streaming. Thank you for our trustees, our district manager, and all the park staff, and ask you to bless them for the work that they do here in the park. We ask that the Holy Spirit guide our discussions and interactions this day as we all try to do what is best for all of our residents. We ask for your help and guidance so that all present are patient, understanding, and respectful to one another as we remember that we are a community of neighbors and friends. We thank you for bringing us back our friends who are away this summer and continue to pray for those who will be traveling back to us over the next few months. We ask all this in the name of your beloved Son, Jesus, our Lord and Savior. Amen. Pledge of Allegiance. Next item we have is our roll call.
Chairperson Sean Slattery.
Present.
First Vice Bob Bachman.
Present.
Second Vice Rick Haggard.
Present.
Treasurer Don Lemaster. Secretary Deb Prince is
Excused.
Assistant Secretary Jackie Mitchell. Present. Trustee George Clinch.
Present. Present.
District Manager
Present.
President Rick Weber.
Thank you, Jackie. All right, now you have in your board packets our previous meeting minutes to be approved. First thing is our 7/22 regular board meeting. Motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we accept the minutes of the July 22nd meeting. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing no changes, discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And the motion carried. Okay, the next item is our minutes for the July 31st regular meeting. Can I need a motion?
Moved.
A motion
Second.
and support. Any discussion, changes? None. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Carried. Next item we have is our September 23rd workshop.
Motion. Second.
Motion and a second. Any changes to these minutes? Discussion. Seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, the next item on our workshop is our agenda, I should say, is our report from our district manager.
Good evening, Holiday Park trustees and residents. It's hard to believe that fall's here. Where does the time go? I'd like to say safe travels to all our snowbird residents making their way back home to Holiday Park. We welcome you all back. Please remember to check in at the office when you return. We'd also like to say hi. Just want to give you a few updates. Florida Power and Light has been completing some of the repair work and work orders that we put in for the street lights in the park. 2 of the 3 lights in front of the pond, they are now working, but there is another one that they missed, so we've submitted another work order for the 3rd one. We are continuing to identify, submit, and follow up on work orders for streetlight outages with FPL. If you have any, if you see some that maybe we've missed, please let us know. We'll follow up on it. Also, the Phase 1 pool and the pool area are sparkling clean for all the residents and guests to enjoy thanks to our maintenance. The sunshade, the breezeway, pool side of the building was pressure washed and the chemicals balanced in the pool. It will be reopened tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. The Phase 2, the Phase 2 pool will be closed for maintenance and cleaning on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week, and will be back open that Thursday morning at 8 o'clock. Our groundskeeper, Dave Cox, has completed removing grass and weeds throughout the entire community where the lawn company edges along the roads and the sidewalk areas. It was quite a job for him to tackle, but he was up for it and he completed it, did a great job. So I'd like to say thank you. A reminder for owners who have rental property here. Your renter is required under our general rules and regulations to complete a renter's application, and it must be approved by the trustees prior to their move-in date. So please remember that. I'd like to say thank you and have a good rest of your evening.
Thank you, Vicki. Next, we have our treasurer's report.
Good evening, everybody. Our assessments we received for the month of September was $1,448.30. Our pavilion fund balance, $107,000. Freezed for Tuscola funds. September income, $1,294. September expenses, $82,000. Restricted reserve account, $1.61. Our project account still has $182,939 in it. All that money is spoken for. We just not receive. Our certificate of deposit, $171,000. Renew our CD for another 7 months. Restricted interest, $22,000. Our operating account, $112,000. Available balance as of in our operating account, $599,050. We still have some outstanding checks. Then in December, this money left over for the year we reserve account. Our budget only called, we are well over budget. We only accounted to away a little over $300,000 and we're able to $500. Done very half and well on the budget. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Don. Question was, how much interest did we get on our CD? And it was 4.5%. Very good rate. Right now we have the chairperson's report. The board welcomes all full-time residents, those residents returning from summer break, visitors attending our meeting this evening, and also for all those who are streaming. Please keep all resident comments to 3 minutes or less. Please refrain from any side comments or discussions as they are distracting. Board members, please remember to speak into your microphone so our streamers can hear us. I have just a couple items. Our district manager, Vicki, and the board as a whole received a complaint in the form of a letter from a concerned resident after our last workshop meeting. This will be shared with our residents as the last item on tonight's agenda, as NB2. I don't like to bring new business to our regular meeting without it first going to a workshop meeting. This item, NB1, concerns increased security within the park, particularly within the Phase 2 buildings. Both Vicki and I thought that it was important enough to bring before the board this evening for a possible vote, not wait another month for the November regular meeting. All items within the agenda under old business have been reviewed and discussed previously, and so I would expect the board to move quickly through. Thank you. Trustee report. Any trustee reports? Bob?
The only thing I have is I'd like to thank our maintenance staff for money they've saved us over the year. The three guys are doing fantastic. And even the evening guys are pitching in and they're helping too, and it's making this park a great place to be.
Thank you, Bob. Tim?
Okay, we finished up the pickleball tennis court project list, and hopefully we got a confirmed date of Monday, the 13th, of the shuffleboard court starting. We did have a couple residents that last year would say they'd step up and help us out because I know nothing about shuffleboard. Well, we will be contacting you. And I do have some other good development that last week, but
Okay. Thank you.
it affects the park quite a bit.
Okay,
Thank you.
Don?
Nothing further.
All right. George, welcome back.
Thank you, Sean. Thing I have a question for Vicky. Light between 5303 54.5 Holiday Park Boulevard. Right.
We do have a work order in for it. I think it was reported some time ago, but we could not find anything on the site, so we went ahead and
Thank you.
yesterday.
Thank you.
Thank you, George. Joni?
I just wanted to say, in our last meeting, we talked about the swells, our start clean out, and thank our wonderful maintenance staff for it. Outflow is open. Staff, fabulous. Handle on that. On crew is doing, like to just a quick announcement thing. They are using mulching blades, grass property. I understand that well fast. Lots of grass gets well. Home has their mulching patches. Other element reminder in our lawn contract not have a in our contract they contracted edging parts driveway. They do not have a contract with edge around. But a lot of the people that I went to see said that my house was back. Contract not have hard.
Thank you, Joni. Rick? Nancy, get the hearing pavilion put up there.
Are some points for the another set of drawings that
Okay, thank you, Rick. So more to come on the pavilion, but you can see that some work is being done.
If somebody wants to see drawings that I have of the pavilion, seeing as how I'm on the committee, I have some
Okay, one of the things that I had heard from a resident would be, said that it would be wonderful if those drawings could be blown up a little bit and put on an easel, put in our,
once we get everything final, that is.
okay, very good.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question. Maybe Bob can answer it. On the project location, drawing, one corner over.
I didn't notice it.
Yeah, I see it too. I would assume we're gonna have to move the sidewalk there.
More than likely, yeah. Probably come in when they come in and take the plan now. It's my knowledge, what is there now is coming out.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to, that's all of our trustee reports, so we're gonna open it up to resident comments. Any resident comments? Sorry, I'm sorry, I forgot Jackie, because she's taking minutes. And Jackie, do you have anything to say?
For once, I don't.
Okay, wonderful.
Jackie,
See,
so
I knew that secretly, so, okay, go ahead, Carol.
Can you hear me? Yes. I'm Cheryl Morris, 5583 Holiday Park. Unfortunately, here for the workshop meeting, so I'd like to bring a quick what ifs about the old business item OB bylaw changes, where it's suggested that I didn't bring that with me on the podium. We take out the ability trustee call in for a meeting.
Yeah, we changed that. The board didn't want that in there, and that was reversed. So if you get, when you see it tonight on
Okay.
the screen, that's gone. That
Okay,
part's
that
gone.
was what I wanted to discuss.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you, Cheryl. Anyone else? Any other comments? Okay, great. We're going to move on then to our old business. The first item here is our staff paid time off, Friday, December 26th. We reviewed that. It's up here now for a vote. Unless you have some discussion, but I would like to see a motion for it, and then we'll open it for discussion.
We'll move.
We have a motion and by Rick and Bob support. Any discussion on it? Hello, okay. Being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, the next item is our general rules and regulation changes. So you've seen these. Nothing in this document was changed from our workshop. I need a motion. A motion to accept.
Second.
2 seconds. Got one of them.
Write a just write a name down. I think that'll.
Who made the motion?
Rick.
Tim. Then Who second?
Don can have it.
Tom. Don second. We have to be slower, guys, because, you know, Jackie's doing the best she can here. Okay, here we go. Okay, it's open for discussion. Anyone have any other comments that were not made at the workshop? None. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, and the motion carries. We will update this document to review or to take off all the highlights, and that will be in your board or your mailbox. Next item is our projects for budget year 2025-26. Now, this might take another moment because we made changes from our workshop, and we need to review those. The plan here, though, is that I would like to accept this if we have changes, we'll put them in, but accept this for tonight, but we will still review it every month. So every workshop, we're going to review this and the living document of the year. All right. We already talked about status of the court resurfacing for the tennis, pickleball, and the shuffleboard. So that remains until that's closed out. If you have comments, I'm going through this, just speak up. The Phase 2 project, catch basins, that was also reported on tonight. That's finished by the end of the month. And then that will be closed out. So what we have on here right now for our projects this coming year, so 2025-26, our budget would be our gate entry and access system, our front and rear gates, 3 estimates received, reviewing, researching, and the agenda on the next workshop. Talk about that more at the next. Increase electrical power to Phase 2 common area. This is a plan that needs to be done before we can put the pavilion in. We need somebody in the park, electrician or somebody, or I don't know. This is something that we have the money for. We're planning on covering the project money this year, but it doesn't become a project until someone steps up and we figure out how we're going to make it happen. So the board will discuss it again at the workshop, any ideas that we have, but if there's someone out there, I know we have electricians, what we need is somebody to help us put a plan together that we can then open up to contractors, get bids, what it would take. That part will be done, and it needs to be done prior to pavilion. More to come on that. Next item we have is our Phase 2 landscaping, Tuscola Fountains landscaping, and Phase 2 grade furniture. This we have a price on. We also have, we basically have the price. I'll let Vicki speak to this.
Landscaping material, what we're looking at primarily is done with the rocks in the Phase 1 that we just recently completed over the summer. And so we're going to do something similar as far as the actual, instead of mulch or things like that, we're going to do those same type of landscaping rocks. And that's going to be throughout the Phase 2, the building over by the pool area. All of that is going to be cleaned out, everything put in fresh, including some of the bushes, flowers, those types of landscaping materials as well in that area. We're also going, including where the fountains are. So, kind of the rocks that's looking a little bad. So we want to update and freshen that area as well. So it's included in that. We're doing all of the landscaping in-house. So that will be, a joint effort with our maintenance staff and our groundskeeper. And then the pool furniture for the Phase 2 pool will be a commercial grade pool furniture, and some of the pricing that I've received from companies that we've either used in the past or others that I have found to do some comparison pricing for what we're going to replace is in the $35,000 range. So that's what I'm looking at there. And then we've got a plan for the furniture that we are going to replace with at the Phase 2 pool area and what we're going to do with that that furniture. So we're looking at, we can sell it, so we can open that up, whether that's a Facebook marketplace to sell, and then give it a time frame, because we don't have a lot of storage area for that. So we'll give it a time frame, and whatever remains that we don't sell, then we'll remove all the straps and things like that, and then take it to the scrapyard to get some type of funds back for it.
Okay, so basically more to come on this. It's not a full-blown, it's a project we have placed. She's working on the pricing of it, but the plans coming before the board, the materials that we're going to purchase for the furniture, all that will come before the board before it's done.
Sean, Vicki, does a resident ask me, does that include the horseshoe landscaping that's over there?
I'll have to check on that, because that has not been brought up, but we have, the
I
areas that
know
I was looking at was the building, around the building, as well as around the pool area and where the bathrooms are, and that backside, where the pond is back there. So I'll look, because, as much as we bring in of the landscaping rocks, we tend to always have extra. So we'll look and see if what that square footage is and how much that would include, and if we can get it in this same price range.
Excellent, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you, Vicki. So number 4 there is to be determined, remaining number of catch basins and culverts. So that's something that Rick is working on with Summit, and they'll bring that back to us to talk about that. So that's what we're looking at right now for the projects for this year. If you look on page 2, there is our medium term. Right now we still have our phase 2 AC replacement. That's something that we had put on here. It needs to be done. The pricing is there, but we're limping along right now, and the maintenance team thinks that we can get through this next season without replacing it. But it is something that possibly I've asked that when we do the budget, that it I think it should be an operating expense, and it should come out of our operating budget, but it's not in there for this current budget.
Right.
But maybe by the May time season, when it looks like if we're gonna have to replace it or not, we may have money that they can find in our budget to take it out of this and have it done this year, but not be part of our project money. So that's what we're hoping for. Phase 1 pool commercial furniture replacement, that's on here because that needs to be done too. And that would be brought up, hopefully next year we'd be doing that. And then of course we have our long-term projects, which I'm not going to spend much time on, but I invite the board and residents to take a look at that. And if you have strong feelings about anything in there, that should be brought to our medium bucket as a medium project, or medium-term project, I should say. Please bring those as we're talking about this every month at our workshop, and we can discuss that. And then on the back is our completed projects we have listed there. We're just going to keep a track of what we've completed since we started
Mr.
this
Chair.
project. Yes.
I do have a comment, and I'd like Vicki to maybe explain it about the sinkhole out front. We're getting the runaround.
We may be. I am actually, and I started looking today and doing some research on the boundaries for that front area. So the city of Northport confirmed with me that the sinkhole, it's, where the square patch was done, was completed when you come into the park in the front entrance. It's on the
Right.
a little bit more to the right side, and it's a big square. And you can tell it's starting to sink down more and more. So I contacted the city of Northport in their roads division, and he confirmed with both city of Northport and Sarasota County, being that that's also Highway 41 right there, that we were the responsible parties for the repair of whatever is going on to cause it to sink. I haven't accepted that as the answer, Bob. So I am still researching that and looking at the boundaries, because my understanding is everything outside of our gates is city of Northport.
I mean, without question. So that is definitely in conflict with what I'm being told by the city.
That was what I was told when I originally went to them about it.
I will keep researching it. I haven't stopped.
All right, thank you. Okay, so for this, for our project list, I would just like a motion to accept this as our, the updates as, approve the updates as given. We have a motion.
Second.
And support. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, next thing on our agenda is our play at your own risk signs at activity sites. I'm gonna let Vicki take us through this.
Okay, I just have a few updates since our workshop. This is what we're proposing as the final layout for our play at your own risk signs, which would be basically at your pickleball, shuffleboard, bocce, and tennis courts. And we're looking at with the tennis courts and the the pickleball courts, we could put these on the gates. So this is just to help minimize some of our risk. You know, it doesn't, of course, take all the risk away, but it at least gives, an opportunity for any guests and residents to see that this is a play at your own risk type sport or activity. And so we did go out and get some pricing that we didn't have completed at the workshop meeting. They are 18 by 12 inch signs, aluminum type signs. They're $22.95 a piece. We have expect that there will be 15 signs, and I broke out where these would be located. So in the phase one, there would be two at the pool and also 2 at the shuffleboard courts. What we're looking at, because we really don't want to put these on the poles, of the shuffleboard courts or at the bocce. So we're looking at, the maintenance staff is looking at just installing some poles, that these could be closely placed to those courts. And be visible to our residents and guests. In phase 2, we're also putting 2 at the pickleball, 3 at the pickleball court, 2 at the pool, and 4 at the tennis court. So we're trying to cover all of the gates and those surrounding areas wherever we have outdoor sports activities.
I have a question, Vicki. Are you going to put the similar signs by the horseshoe courts?
Oh.
Yes.
That's a very good point. Yes.
Thank you.
That should be included.
Would you say that would be 2
Yes.
on poles?
Yes.
Don't put them on trees.
Okay, so we have that in front of you. We'll add, Vicki will add the ones for the horseshoe. Anything else that you can think of while we're thinking here? I think we've got it all covered now. But if they come up, we'll fix it in the future. So for now, this is the ones we'll do. The price, of course, is going to be less than $400, but it's going to be a little more than what we have quoted here. But I need a motion and
So moved.
we have a motion. We have support. Support. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, next item we have is our activity waivers required for park activities. We spoke to this and at our workshop and discussed it and how it would be used. If you have questions about it, we can talk about those, but please, I need a motion. We have a motion
Second.
and second. Any discussion now about this? It hasn't changed since what we reviewed at our workshop.
The only question I have about it is being able to police this.
Well, right now, you're right. I mean, we're going to do the best we can, and that's all we can do. As we discussed, the activity chair people for all the activities that we deal with, the big ones like the Olympics, like pickleball tournaments, the tennis teams, bocce, they'll all have, those leaders of those activities will have a stack of these, and we will be asking them to make sure that anyone who's going to use that's going to sign up for a team or going to use, being part of a tournament, even if they're coming in from outside, that they sign these before they play. And that's all we can do. So that's the plan. We'll see how it goes. Cheryl, can someone give her a microphone so we can hear her, please?
Chair would also like to make a comment.
Who?
I would like to make a comment
yes.
as well.
My only concern on this is that you're going to have a rebellion with like your tennis club and people like that when people come in and they don't want to sign it. And what can we do about it? We can do nothing. Okay? If you're going to go in and stop their playing, I don't think you're going to do that. So I think you're going to get yourself in a world of hurt with the activities if you have to put something like this in without making sure you have everything locked up tight.
Wasn't this,
And I don't see that happening.
Well, I think when you say locked up tight, what do you mean?
Everybody who is on a sports team, bocce, whatever, has to sign one of those. Anybody that they bring in, you want to sign one.
Yes.
That's not going to happen.
Well,
And that will piss off the tennis groups and
Well-
the people who bring players.
I understand what you're saying, and you're probably right. You're probably right. We're probably going to have a little rebellion, and there'll probably be some people upset. But that's what we're requiring. If they want to do it, they want to continue doing it. This was put before, no, just before. We put this before our lawyer, and we put this before our insurance company, and both of them agreed that this is a good plan, that that they want this to
I
happen.
don't disagree, that's a good plan. Has the HOA agreed to it? Because these teams.
we don't have an HOA?
We know what you mean. You mean the ARC, but the board,
Because see, these teams are under them, and have they backed this? That might give you a little bit more backing, is kind of where I'm going to this.
all right, thank you. You're right, we didn't put this before the ARC because they haven't come in back in the park and started having meetings. So I'll ask our ARC chairperson, or president, if they have a problem with this at this point.
We have our first meeting on the 21st, and it will discuss the membership meeting, the council. That's all we can do.
Okay.
I personally don't think it's going to be that big of a problem. I think the majority of people are going to understand the need to reduce our liability. And if there are some people that choose not to sign it, that you need to choose how you're.
Okay, yep. All right. So we're gonna work with, the office will be coordinating all this effort to get the signatures. And I guess we'll deal with the issues as they come up,
All we can do.
all right? Do you have any issue with us voting on this evening? Okay. Then I would like, so we have a motion, we have support, we've had discussion. Any further discussion?
I got a quick question. When you sign up for the Olympics, don't you sign a waiver for the Olympics?
I don't know if they do now, but they will. I don't know if they currently do, but they will going forward.
I thought at one time we did, but I haven't participated for a few years.
Yeah.
In all the county leagues, anytime you do anything at the Morgan Center or at the Aquatic Center, the first thing they ask you to do after you pay your money is to sign a release. I mean, I think in today's society, most people understand that you're going to sign a release to play activities where you could be injured, period. I think it's a given in our society today.
Okay, thank you. All right. We have a motion.
I have another question.
Oh, go ahead.
What if this somehow gets missed and someone gets injured and they didn't sign the release?
On them? It's on them? Yeah, because it's.
Well, we have signs that say play at your own risk. We have these, they're going to be available at all those activities. I think it's going to be tough. We're going to be sending out a note through the emergency text to every resident in here that says, you got to come and sign one of these if you're going to play any of these activities. So we've been requiring this right along for our gym. I mean, everyone that wanted to use our gym had to have signed one of these. It was just a little, I mean, most of it's the same, but it's been updated for all activities. So I think this is just bringing us up to the current century and the current culture and the current, what's going on in our world right now. And it's unfortunate, but we need to cover ourselves. So with that being said, any more questions?
No, in the last meeting, you had stated that residents only need to sign a waiver.
Yes,
So,
it's once,
yeah.
it's one time. This will,
That's not a big deal.
but this replaces the gym. So if you had signed the gym one before, you need to sign this one now because this covers everything, not just the gym. So, but you sign it one time, it's gonna go in your file, it's gonna be a part of your HOA life, and we're gonna know that that you've signed one.
And Mr. Chair, once we get all the residents that are participating in any of this to wear their name tags, we've got it cured. That's how we'll enforce it.
Okay, here we go. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. So this will, the office will start to implement this going forward. All right. Let me get caught up here. Next item we have is our cleanup of tall palm trees, common grounds. And I'm gonna let Vicki speak to that. Well, you have 3 estimates that Vicki, but I'm still gonna let her talk us through the estimates. Thank you.
Okay, so these are the tall palm trees on our common grounds that are like your coconut palms, the ones that over 20 feet, which, is outside of our maintenance staff being able to trim those. So we did identify, through our mapping, we did identify how many of these palm trees so that we could get to the vendors to be able to provide an estimate. We have approximately 250. There's actually 247 that we could count. So we just averaged it at 250 for the estimate. They'll adjust it up or down of what they actually trim. So they are going to trim the actual palm fronds and also clean up the boot around the bottom of the palm. So the first quote, do you want me to get into these?
Yes, please.
The first quote that we have is A&M Tree Trimming. They have done some of the work out in and around Holiday Park. So I did go back to them, and she came out and looked at all of the palms that we have here. And her estimate is $11,250 for 250 palms. So she will, as well, in her estimate states that she will be adjusting it up or down to reflect the exact number. Our other next estimate is from Northport and Venice Tree Service. They're the most recent company that you've been seeing out here. I believe a lot of our residents have called on them as well. They do a great job. Their pricing is always very fair. He is at, for the 250 palms, which does include the same type of trimmings, is $8,750. And highly recommend. The other company we've never used before, but they did at just the right time. They made a cold call, or in person, and spoke to me specifically about lawn service. But I said, hey, I need a quote for some tree trimming. So he looked at that and provided a quote. They are quite more expensive in a place I didn't even really want to go back and negotiate, because they're just so far above the other 2 estimates, but he came in at $13,750.
Okay, I think you mentioned it. But you didn't say it very loudly. So which one do you recommend?
I recommend Northport Trees, Northport Venice and Tree Service.
which is also the lowest bid.
Exactly.
He's just been out here for the past year, doing a lot of our work for the common grounds as well as residents, and has been getting a lot of good feedback as well.
I move that we approve Northport Tree Service.
Second?
We have a motion by Rick and a second by Bob. All those, any discussion on this? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. So it's going to look nice. I don't know if anyone has gone around to the cul-de-sacs, but this is the same group that cleaned up our cul-de-sacs, the trees in those, and they did a great job, and they really look nice. And I think it's going to be wonderful when they're done, the look of our trees on our common grounds. Because I've been here for 3 years now, and they haven't been cleaned in that time. And so we're gonna try to get them done as soon as possible, so they're still covered. We're still in hurricane season, and having them cleaned, if we have any high winds, is really gonna help our park also. So, thank you, Vicki, for doing this.
You're welcome. He's ready to start. They were all ready to schedule, so.
Very good. All right, the next item is our park goals and objectives, year-end report.
No,
Oh,
No,
clean up of palm trees.
clean up of palm trees on empty lots, sorry. I marked it up wrong. Okay, Vicki's gonna speak to this too.
so on our empty lots, which we have 116 empty vacant lots right now. So Dave, our groundskeeper, and myself went to every empty lot and determined which of those lots needed cleanup, specifically for the palm trees that we could reach, with a pole saw, not requiring us to get on a ladder. So that was our first goal. And we identified that there were 20 lots, empty lots, that had palm trees that we could do cleanup on. And the price based on the labor cost for us, as well as using our equipment, we thought a reasonable price would be $75 a tree. There's only one lot that has 2 trees for the $150. It would take us about 10 and a half hours for Dave to complete this work. This would be done during the work hours. We would be invoicing and/or collecting $1,650 for those 20 vacant lots. And once if this was to move forward, then the plan is that we would contact each of those property owners to get them to at least verbally agree that they want it done, that they want us to do it, and get payment up front if we can. It does not eliminate or prevent us from doing the cleanup anyway. We have a deed restriction 3P that allows us to do cleanup work and invoice the owner should we need to do that on the properties here. There's also 3 empty lots that needs other cleanup that we don't have the ability to do. It's where it's maybe a lot of brush or tall trees. I do have a contractor that's going to go by and look at those properties and give us an estimate for what those would cost. So I don't have that just yet.
Okay, so what we have here is we're looking for the board to moving forward with this. As Vicki stated, she has to contact each of the residents, give them the opportunity to get the trees cleaned up on their own, through their own contractor, or approve us to clean them up ourselves and then invoice them for that, and they would be told what the invoice would be going into it. We have somebody that'd like to make a comment. Go ahead, Cheryl.
I'd like to ask, have these places been fined, been the notice saying that you're outside of the deed restriction or the ACC rule?
They have not been fined, gone through the fine process.
I'm not even fined. Have they gotten a letter from the office saying that they're out of compliance?
For just recently, for this
Yeah, for the
particular,
palm tree cleanup.
I would have to go through and look at those. I know that a lot of these are LLCs, which do have outstanding fines. But but not particularly
Okay,
for this event.
I'm not sure the rule allows us to do that without going through their due process, which today is the letter. So I'm just backing off on that, but want you guys to think about whether we can go in on their property, even though they said yes, and clean it up. If they say no, we sure can't. And then we can go to the violations if we need to. But I'm a little concerned about,
We have, and we'll review it again, but we have this is outside of the fine process itself.
Well, it doesn't
But it's
have-
but it's part of our deed restriction and our general rules and regulations, so it's covered there. But also we have a resolution on it, so we'll check.
we have
So-
a resolution that says,
I think we have a resolution that it talks about the order of conduct as far as how you can call someone and then send them a letter, yes.
okay, I'm not aware of that,
Yeah.
but if you do, I'd love to see it.
Yeah, and speaking of resolutions, I just want to make this comment. As I was going through the resolutions recently for some different reasons, I noticed that probably over half of our current resolutions in our book are either obsolete or completed, and we still have them in our book. So we're going to be doing, when I say we, I'm going to be working with Vicki, and we're going to be working on going through all of our resolutions, understanding which ones are still in effect and which ones are obsolete and which ones have been completed. And we're going to make a list and share that with the board, and then we're going to clean up what we have, better organize what we have in our books here, our handbooks, going forward. But yes, what we're asking for today is just that we can go through this process of the cost and that we can do it in-house. But the process has to be followed, whatever process that is, and the office will be following that process as far as the contact with the residents and then going through the charge and collecting the money or putting an estoppel on their property.
Time of the
Thank
sale.
you, property. Okay. So, is the board feel comfortable with voting on this today, or would you like to put it off and get some more information?
I'm
And
ready to make a motion if you'd like.
okay, go ahead.
Move
Vic.
on, I make a motion, we move on with what Vicki explained on the trees and to follow the proper procedures in doing so.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now we're going to move on to our park goals and objectives year-end report for 2024, 2025. And it's before you. And there's no changes from what, well, wait, there's one change. No, there's no changes for this from what we discussed at our workshop. So I would accept a motion.
Make a motion, we accept this as presented.
A motion and second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, the next item is our park goals and objectives for this coming year, 2025, 2026. And in that, there is one change that I'm going to let Vicki speak to going in, and before we vote on it. But let's have a motion first.
So moved.
We have a motion. We have support. Okay, now we're opening up for discussion. Go ahead, Vicki.
Okay, the change or the revision that we have placed in the 2025-26 goals and objectives, this is a living document, so every year we will be using this document to measure our goals and objectives, to ensure that we're meeting these standards and we're documenting that. So the change that we're looking to make is in 4, and it is, which is our Board of Trustees, District Manager. So we added District Manager and staff annual requirements, because there are some requirements, and Sean, I don't have this documented on here, but there is a resolution. It was a 2014 resolution of procedures. It was adopted May the 8th of 2014, that stated that in addition to our sunshine training, our code of ethics training, that the Board of Trustees do annually, that there is also, public records law training, but there is additional requirements by this resolution that does include the district manager and the staff, as well as the 9 trustees, to have annual training for the Holiday Park Code of Ethics, deed restrictions, rules and regulations, and the House Bill 1855. So we want to adopt that into, or include that into our goals and objectives, and make sure that all of the training that we require, not just by the state, but for Holiday Park, is followed.
Thank you. Any questions? Yeah, if you go into your resolutions and you look up resolution of procedures, the one from 5/8/2014, it's all listed there. And this is, again, one of the things that we've recently rediscovered that we had in our resolutions. So we're going to put it in here, and we're going to start following it. Our resolutions, well, when we get through them, yes, that's a great idea. We'll put them online. All right, the ones that are still valid and effective. Yeah. Anyways, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So we have our goals in for this next year. All right, next we have is our trustee bylaw changes. This one is exactly what we went through again at our workshop, except for the change made under Article 7, meetings. As you'll see there, the old verbiage is still there. It says a quorum of at least 5 trustees must be present to hold a board meeting, and one of the present trustees must be an officer in order to facilitate the meeting. If a valid quorum exists, absent trustees are allowed to call into the board meeting and ask questions. A motion must be made and accepted by the present trustees in order to allow the call-in trustees to make motions or vote. The only added item there is the last line that says absent trustees will still receive the agenda and all board packet information via email 3 to 4 days prior to the meeting. And everything else in here is the same. So I need a motion.
So moved.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have support. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we have a new fine committee member. We have their application in front of you, and I'm going to let Vicki walk through this.
So currently, we have 2 fine committee members and that are active on the fine committee, and we require 3 committee members. So we began to post, you probably saw on the digital sign and our website and text alerts that you may have received, in an effort to have a volunteer come forward. At least 1, but if more came forward, that would be great too. But we do require 3, and we also need a chair. So the application, which is the only application we have received, is the one included in your packet. Can I say the name?
Yes.
Okay. Is Anita Ross. She resides at 5864 Holiday Park Boulevard, and she has applied. She also has interest in what would like to be considered as the chair. I have just, vetted to make sure that she meets the requirements of a standing committee member.
Which is on the back of our application. So we need to, as a board, approve this person, Anita Ross, as being on the fine committee. So I need a motion. We have a motion
Second.
from Rick and a second from Don. I'm not Rick. I'm saying Tim. Well, Tim and Rick, they're synonymous in the department.
No, Rick didn't have anything to do with it.
No. No, he didn't. It was Tim. It was Tim. But in my mind, I look at him and I'm sorry. Anyways, we have a motion from Rick, no, from Tim, and Don, second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, you can see my mind is quickly going. All right, here we go. Next item is our new business. New business. We have security cameras and streaming music project. I'm gonna let Vicki talk to us about this.
Okay, so this began it began on our projects list, and also was brought to our attention through the insurance company risk advisor that came to do a review of our survey of our property. And through that, he identified that we did not have any type of security cameras in the Phase 2 area. So that's the pool, the building, the parking lots. So this is why it was brought forward. It initially came onto the projects list, but it is within an operating budget line item that we could bring that out of the projects list, and that is why it's on the new business tonight. So basically, there will be, in addition to Phase 2, I'll start with Phase 1, we do not have cameras in Phase 1 on our parking lots, on the side and the front, so we will be installing 3 to 4 cameras for the Phase 1 building, as well as the additional, this is for a total of 9 cameras, for the additional at least 5, possibly 6 cameras that will cover the Phase 2 building, the front, the side, back, the other side facing out to the side parking lot where the pool is, as well as where the building is for the ceramics and the bathrooms. There will be a camera there facing out to that parking lot, as well as to the pool. So in addition to that, since we were looking at streaming type music in the pool, went ahead and had them look at what we could do for a better speaker system. So that is included in this estimate to upgrade our speaker system out there. So that will also allow us to do streaming music. That's something that I know that I've had some interesting questions about. So this total estimate includes all of the equipment that is listed, as well as the labor that the IT company will charge. They are not doing any of the actual installation. They are allowing our maintenance staff to actually perform that labor. So we're not being charged for that manual labor of installing the cameras, like not actually the cameras, but the poles that it takes wherever they're going to have to do that type of installation, or drilling through a wall, whatever that may be, and they will be guided through that by our IT company. So their scope of work for the hourly rate that they're charging is primarily for them to configure the cameras and all of the equipment that they're upgrading to accommodate the additional cameras. The dish system that they're using is going to be the same that we have currently at the front and back gates and here in the Phase 1 building, which are directional type dish antennas. They point towards each other, which then comes back to our building here. And if you've seen the dish that we have on our building, which also feeds into our internet. So that is how we're able to feed internet out to these cameras. They're on our managed network. Our IT company can now see when those cameras are down and take that initiative to troubleshoot in a remote way if there's anything that they can do to bring them back online. So it really does extend, that capability to have everything under our network.
I have a question.
Questions?
The dishes, do they need to have clear line of sight?
They do. So the one, they do. So the one dish that they're going to be installing at Phase 2 has a clear line of sight back to this building. So that was ensured by the IT company, before they could even recommend what we would be able to do at the Phase 2 building for cameras.
I have a question. Does any of this pertain to anything being done with the compounds and the maintenance shed?
It does not. Those would be outside of this scope of work, primarily because at the 2 compounds, a little bit different situation for one over the other. At the Phase 1, we have power, we do not have internet, so we would have to have that. The dish system does not have a clear line of sight back to this building. So that would have to be on a separate internet. And of course, we have to get Comcast out here and see what that's even going to cost. At the Phase 2 building, or Phase 2 compound, there is no power and there is no internet. So we would have to have FPL out here to see if there is an opportunity to bring in power there. I mean, of course they would. How much it's going to cost, the same with the internet.
Yeah, there's still the opportunity to have standalone cameras at both of these areas that feed off of, either solar power or
Solar or battery.
yeah.
And we would be able to monitor those. They just would not be on our managed network system.
So the opportunity to have cameras still exists. We just have to investigate it more, and that's not.
I know that was something we had discussed,
Yeah.
and I didn't know if it was followed up on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, any other questions? With being none, all those in favor of accepting this proposal signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. So the last item on our new business is resident formal complaint. This was a complaint that came in from a concerned resident. And I'm going to, we don't have it on the screen because I don't want to distract people trying to read something and having it also vocally read. So I'm going to have Vicki is going to read the complaint so that everyone understands what it, and the reason we're doing this is because it was a formal complaint. It's in the public realm as soon as that happens. And so you all deserve to hear it. And I as the complainant, I need to be able to make a response. So with that being said, we're going to go through it.
Okay, so this is a letter dated September the 24th, 2024. It was brought to me in person by Cheryl Morris, resident at 5583 Holiday Park Boulevard. She asked to meet with me and presented this letter, so it is addressed to me. So forgive me for just reading straight. It does have Vicki Lawrence, District Manager, Holiday Park. Dear Ms. Lawrence, item NB12, caretaker agreement for use of yard waste dumpster, was discussed at the September 23rd, 2025 trustee workshop meeting. As a result, I must file a complaint against Mr. Sean Slattery, chairperson of the Board of Trustees, regarding this item. Not only has a new process been implemented by the office allowing Mr. Slattery to use park resources for personal gain, but the process was implemented without approval of the Board of Trustees. Only after the process had been put into place and monies paid was the matter referred to the board for discussion. No approval has yet been provided, yet the process is in place. This appears to be contrary to resolution of procedure 2022-06, a resolution of Holiday Park and Recreation District relating to the Board of Trustees Code of Ethics and Code of Conduct. In addition, it appears to be contrary to the trustee general procedures, which states, quote, any decision affecting the district as a whole is not to be made by one trustee unless the trustee has the approval of the board and the involvement of the trustee assigned, end quote, which in this case did not happen. We were told that as a caretaker, Mr. Slattery collects vegetational debris from numerous homes. Mr. Slattery has implemented a process with the office where he pays $50 a month or $150 a quarter to use Holiday Park's dumpsters for the debris he collects. He indicated he has already paid at least one fee and has placed debris in dumpsters. He has also stated that the park's maintenance staff has indicated that the debris he has placed into the dumpsters has not had a significant effect on the volume of the debris placed into Holiday Park's dumpsters. Mr. Slattery is a sought-after caretaker, gets paid well for his services, and performs caretaking services on more properties than anyone else in the park. Other caretakers in the park may have numerous homes to caretake, but do not have anywhere near the number of homes as Mr. Slattery, and would not benefit from the arrangement he has made with the park because of the $50 monthly fee. Looking around the park on a trash pickup day, one sees paper bags filled with vegetational debris placed out for recycling, old blue recycle bins filled with vegetational debris awaiting pickup, rubber or plastic barrels filled with vegetational debris awaiting trash pickup, and larger tree or brush debris bundled and tied up for pickup. I have spoken to several other caretakers in the park about how they handle yard waste collected. Most indicated they put the waste collected into a bag, place it into the trash can of the homeowner, and when the pile of debris becomes large enough, places the can out for the city trash pickup. Mr. Slattery could also follow this process since the yard debris is not being recycled under the now in place process. The definition of a trustee is an individual appointed to manage and administer a trust for the benefit of its beneficiaries. The beneficiaries in Holiday Park are the property owners. The process recently put into place benefits one individual only, Mr. Slattery, and should not, in my opinion, be approved and implemented by Board of Trustees, but rather the process should be revoked and stopped. Sincerely, Cheryl Morris, and copied Holiday Park trustees, which at that time they all had their own letter that I did disseminate to each one of them personally.
Thank you, Vicki. And thank you, Cheryl, for your note and your concern. As you can see, this complaint was given as a formal letter to Vicki and CC to every trustee. At that point, the complaint was within the public realm of information, and it goes into my records as a trustee. Because of the sunshine laws, I have no recourse to discuss this complaint to any trustee outside of our public meetings. Therefore, I am addressing it now, and my response will be part of these meeting minutes, as well as be put into my trustee file. At first, I was quite taken aback reading the complaint from Ms. Morris. I tried to always be very transparent as a chairperson of this board. So I prayed a lot and about what sort of response I should give concerning this complaint. I have chosen not to be angered by these allegations and instead chose to believe that Ms. Morris was not making the complaint a personal attack upon myself, but instead thought that she was responding to an injustice in the park that she thought would affect all residents, and perhaps because she did not have all the facts. I can be naive at times and therefore not see how others may take my comments within a meeting. I blame myself for not better stating the facts surrounding item NB12 caretaker agreement from our September 23rd, 2025 workshop. I will better explain the progression of events that led up to the creation of that agreement. However, I am stating here that I don't believe that I did anything wrong to merit this complaint and will explain why. I want to point out that I am a resident of Holiday Park first and a trustee second. If the trustees ever start losing our resident rights within this park because of being trustees, then God help this park, because when that happens, you won't have trustees for very long. And without a board of trustees, you won't have a special district. And without a special district, we may all lose our park. I have been a caretaker for 3 summers now, and my caretaker work has grown each summer, and the amount of work that I do for residents has also grown. When I first started, I mostly only took care of weed growth, but as time progressed, I started doing the pruning of palm fronds and bushes for people so that they would not come back to a mess in the fall. I never liked to waste space in the yard bags. At that first summer, I could visit all 15 homes in a few hours and not fill up a whole yard waste bag. So I would bring it home and hold it for days in some cases before putting it to the road for pickup. This past spring, because of taking on more caretaker work, I noticed that I was starting to fill up bags more often, and by June, because of the summer growth, it was taking several hours, over 2 to 3 days, to visit all the homes. I was filling up 1 to 2 bags a day. It was at this point that I talked to Carmela about dumping out my bags within the yard waste dumpster at Phase 1 compound. As a resident and a caretaker, I explained my situation to Carmela, and she talked to David, our groundskeeper, and they did not have an issue with it. I will also note that there is nothing that I could find in any of our park documents that states that a resident cannot use our park dumpsters, especially if they first get permission. And I'm going to digress here for a moment. I reviewed our 1855, I reviewed our deed restrictions, I reviewed our general rules and regulations, I reviewed ACC, and I tried to see if there was something in resolutions, and I could find nothing. I asked Vicki to do the same. She could find nothing. And I say to all of you here, if you find something where we have stated as a board or as a park that our residents cannot, if the board basically has put in a document somewhere that the residents cannot use our dumpsters, then this is null and void, and I will not, and Cheryl wants to say something.
As far as I know, there's nothing in our rules that says residents cannot use the dumpsters. That said, until maybe a year ago, the dumpsters have been locked with padlocks, so residents can't use them. And sitting in that board, sitting in the trustees, we have told residents, no, you can't use park dumpsters. That was especially true after the last hurricanes. The men's club wanted to use park dumpsters, but thought better about it and talked to the manager at that time and got their own dumpsters so they wouldn't use park dumpsters. That's a little bit of history.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going.
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
And that was after a hurricane.
Yes, so, and I know that after the hurricane, we also, because a lot of people had a lot of extra waste, that we actually paid for dumpsters and put them out front here and had stuff put in those. So I'm thinking, in my opinion, in my defense, that's outside of what we're talking about here. That's a completely different issue.
Sean, you don't have to defend me. I wasn't making this personal. It's just.
You're right. I mean, I agree, and I'm okay with that, Cheryl. I'm not trying to say, maybe I misspeak myself. I'm not really. In the one hand, I am sort of defending the way your note came out, and I have to respond to that because I have to let the residents know where I was coming from and how this came to be. And I still have quite a bit to go through, but Jim, if you want to state something.
No, I'm going to speak after you're done.
Okay.
You're doing a great job.
All right, thank you. Scott, okay. I think I'm here. I never liked the idea of leaving yard waste bags at the foot of residents' driveways because we often have summer storms and with high winds, which could blow the yard bags to who knows where if left at the road for a week. So I didn't want to worry about that and was willing to take on the extra time it took and effort to haul my bags by golf cart over to the dumpster to dump them. Note also that at this time there was no charge. I was dumping about 4 to 6 paper yard bags of debris every 2 weeks, which was not expected to impact the regular dumpster removal exchange schedule. This was verified by Vicki when we started talking about the creation of a caretaker dumpster agreement. So at this point, I will reiterate that I, as a resident of Holiday Park, had done nothing wrong. It was just after Vicki took over as our district manager that I felt it my duty to discuss with her the fact that I had been using the yard waste dumpsters since the June timeframe. It was at this time that we discussed creating a formal caretaker agreement between the park and myself, an agreement that other caretakers in the park could also use if they wanted to. However, this agreement would need to go before the Board of Trustees prior to opening it up to all caretakers. It was also at this time, it was also at this time that we discussed adding a charge to the use of the dumpster, because if more caretakers start using it, then it would most likely impact the regular dumpster removal / exchange schedule. So Vicki met with the maintenance team, including Dave, our groundskeeper, to discuss a monthly charge and came up with the $50 per month charge. Excuse me. Vicki also worked with her staff to create the caretaker agreement form. So the office created the form. I had nothing to do with that, other than to discuss it with her. This all happened during the first week of September, right after Labor Day. Since we now had a formal agreement created, we talked about me signing the agreement for the summer usage of the dumpster, and I volunteered to pay the $200 charge for June through September usage. I also stated that if the board wished to increase the monthly amount, then I would pay the difference. We also thought it prudent for me to pay for my usage before bringing it to the board to be opened up to the whole park, because I did not want to be accused of using the dumpsters for free all summer long and now expecting other caretakers to pay a charge going forward. The caretaker agreement was then presented to the board at the September 23rd, 2025 workshop. To be clear at this point, the caretaker agreement was a business agreement between the park and myself. Vicki, as the district manager, has every right to enter into such an agreement with me as a resident. This agreement was not costing the park any money, even though Vicki has the okay from the board to spend up to $1,500 on any business transaction she deems necessary or to the benefit of the park. This agreement was a win-win for the park, as now I was subsidizing the payment for the dumpster, and as a caretaker, I was keeping the resident homes looking nice all summer. It was a win for the residents who I serve, because I would not be leaving yard waste bags in their driveways, even though it was added work for me, as I would still need to haul the bags to the dumpster to empty them myself. But it was also a win for me, as I wouldn't need to worry about the bags blowing around in the windstorm or have to keep them at my home to put to the road on pickup day. The only reason the caretaker agreement was created and brought before the board was to allow other caretakers in the park to use the yard waste dumpster. I would argue that the caretaker agreement does not become a new office process until it's brought before the board to be voted upon. So at this point, it was just a business agreement between the park and myself, a resident. However, since our September workshop, Vicki has updated the caretaker agreement to allow any resident to use the dumpster for a minimal fee to be set by the office. This may benefit all those residents returning this fall who did not have a caretaker all summer, or any resident who would rather dump a number of bags of yard waste instead of holding them at their driveway. We will discuss this again at the next workshop, but only if the board still wants to review and move the caretaker agreement forward for a future vote. In all that I have stated thus far, I believe that I have just addressed the concerns in paragraph 1 of the complaint, a letter from Ms. Morris. In paragraph 2, Ms. Morris directs us to Resolution of Procedure 2022-06, which she accuses me of violating. I will now review this resolution with those present. First, I do not believe that I have violated any of these items in our Code of Ethics and Code of Conduct. So I'm going to go through that real quick. This is one of the items that we also found that we're going to review on a yearly basis for the staff as well as the trustees. But in our books, we have Resolution of Procedure 2026. Oh, sorry. Okay. This is a resolution of Holiday Park Park and Recreation District relating to the Board of Trustee Code of Ethics and Code of Conduct. Whereas Holiday Park Park and Recreation District Board of Trustees operates under the authority vested in it by special act of the Florida Legislature, specifically House Bill 1855. This document lists all the powers and duties granted to the board under Florida law. Whereas the Code of Ethics and Behavior is a statement of the aspirations and high expectations of the board members. These practices serve as a guide to behavior for members of the board in carrying out its principles. The code and these practices are intended to be as a whole, used as a whole, and in conjunction with one another. An ethical public servant will consider the full range of standards and values that are relevant to handling a special matter and be committed to upholding both the spirit and the letter of this code. Be it hereby resolved by Holiday Park Park and Recreation District as follows. The Holiday Park Board of Trustee members are committed to serving all persons with courtesy, respect, and dedication to high standards, promoting the principles of equality, fairness, representativeness, responsiveness, and due process in protecting residents' rights and promoting the public good, being open and transparent while protecting private rights and security, recognizing and supporting the residents' rights to know the public business, assisting members of the community in their dealings with the board, and respond to the residents in ways that are complete, clear, and easy to understand, promoting timely and continuing discernment of information about district activities to the community, providing equal treatment, protection, and due process to all persons, opposing all forms of discrimination and harassment, exercising integrity, courage, compassion, benevolence, and optimism, maintaining truthfulness and honesty at all times, accepting individual responsibility for actions and the consequences of these actions, conducting official acts without partisanship or favoritism, bullying or intimidating behavior or language is prohibited. Threat of violence or physical assault will not be tolerated. All electronic devices, including cell phones and pagers, shall be turned off or otherwise silenced at trustee meetings. Clapping, whistling, banging tables, heckling, gesturing, loud conversations, or disruptive behavior is prohibited. All trustee comments shall avoid personal attacks, abusive language, and redundancy. No trustee attending a board meeting is to harass, annoy, or otherwise disturb any other person in the room. Any trustee whose behavior is disruptive and violates this procedure is subject to removal by the sergeant at arms from the board meeting and such other actions as may be appropriate. Adopted by the Board of Trustees on 14th day of April, 2022. So in reading, I don't know that I've violated any of those items. Also in paragraph 2, Ms. Moore states that I broke a rule within the trustee general procedures, which states any, quote, any decision affecting the district as a whole is not to be made by one trustee unless the trustee has the approval of the board and involvement of the trustee is assigned. Quote, I must admit that I don't recognize the document that she is speaking of from this, so we're still trying to figure this out. Where do I find this trustee general procedures? A document by that name is not in our trustee handbook. And I thought that maybe it was our general rules and regulations, but I reviewed that and I don't find that in there either. So I'm not sure where that came from. It was just after Vicki took over our, oh, yes, this 3, 4. Yeah, I'm on 5, right?
Yes.
Aha, here we go. So I would argue that until the caretaker agreement is approved. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, even so, I would argue that up until the caretaker agreement is approved by the board, it does not affect the whole district. Again, this was an agreement between the park and a resident, and it did not affect any other resident within the park, nor did it negatively affect the park in any way. Paragraph 3 of the complaint hinges upon calling the agreement between the park and myself a new process, which again, I would argue is not a process until it has been approved by the board. It was an agreement between the park and a resident. If I were not a trustee, then she would not have a complaint. Also, the fee of $200 that I paid was something that I didn't even have to do. It was voluntary. I did it voluntarily, and that was a win for the park. Paragraph 4 has issues as well. I have never discussed my caretaking work with Ms. Morris, and I don't remember ever discussing it with other park caretakers. And so I don't know how she would know anything about my work as a caretaker, unless it is possibly hearsay from other residents. I admit that I do have a number of residents in the park that I do caretaking work for, but there is at least one other caretaker in the park that I believe has more homes than I do. And there may be more than one, for all I know. I will agree that not all caretakers in our park will benefit from the caretaker agreement, but I would argue, so what? It is a business agreement, and not every business agreement makes sense for every person. If a resident caretaker will not benefit from the agreement, then they will choose not to enter into it. Why does Ms. Morris care? However, I will again state that the office is working on identifying a separate cost for one-time use of the yard waste dumpster in order that more residents may benefit from the agreement, if they so choose to do so. I have already addressed paragraph 5 and 6. I choose not to leave yard waste bags at the end of driveways of residents who are away for the summer. And I don't want 3 to 6 bags sitting in my yard for up to a week waiting for the weekly pickup. I don't know what is meant in paragraph 6 about the recycling of yard waste. I believe that all yard waste, whether picked up from the yard waste dumpster or from a bag at the end of the road, goes to the same waste facility. However, another positive within this agreement is that the yard waste paper bags are not placed in our yard waste dumpster. I totally disagree with paragraph 7. The agreement that I had with the park was indeed a business agreement, and that benefited the park as well as myself. Again, it is not a process until the board has approved it. Next steps moving forward. If the board chooses not to move forward with the caretaker agreement for review at the next workshop, then it just goes away. My agreement ended September 30th, and so I am no longer using the yard waste dumpster for this winter season. If the caretaker agreement makes it to our November 13th regular meeting for a vote, then I would recuse myself from the vote by filling out Commission Form 8B, voting conflict, and filing it with our meeting recording secretary and reading it aloud at the meeting prior to the vote. I apologize for taking up your time, but I felt it necessary to respond to this complaint within a public forum, as the complaint itself is within the public realm, and I cannot discuss it with any trustee outside our public meetings. Trustees, if you have any comments, then please give them now. Also, I need a consensus on whether or not to bring the caretaker agreement to the October 28th workshop. Thank you. Respectfully, Sean Slattery, resident of Holiday Park and chairperson of the Board of Trustees. That was a lot.
Yes. You have been called long-winded.
Trustee responses.
Yes. Yeah, go ahead.
I want trustees to respond first.
right.
I'm just the homeowner.
Trustee responses.
Yes, I'd like to bring it back to the next workshop.
I'd like to bring it back to the next workshop, but I also like to know how we're going to police this idea without a camera being at this dumpster. The sign is there, it says employees only. We need some signage and maybe a camera just to monitor this, because people are going to take advantage of it. That dumpster is not locked. It is a tub. And in the past, there's been stuff that's had to be taken out because they won't take it. And that makes more work for our guys.
Yep. All good comments, Bob.
Mr. Sean, I don't believe you did anything wrong. You, as a resident, are more than able to talk to a district manager if you have a problem you'd like to solve. I believe we should bring this back to the next workshop.
I know it's been used before by other people, and I appreciate you being transparent to offer, paying for things that other people use for free.
Anyone else? Okay, so the consensus is so
I
far.
have something to say.
Go ahead, George.
Over the past year, since I've been here since 2017, I have seen that dumpster used by many different residents. I have seen skids thrown in that dumpster. I have seen pop cans, garbage, and somebody else made the comment that our park employees have to go and pull this out. I also went around the park before this meeting this afternoon and looked at properties that really need a caretaker, and there's quite a few of them. You see weeds in here, and now we're chastising a caretaker that's trying to make the park look nice. I see nothing done wrong here, and I'd like to see this brought up to another meeting. But like Bob said, we need something to show what's going in that dumpster. Because in the past, I know it hasn't been the right things.
Thank you.
I honestly believe, Sean, that you. I honestly believe, Sean, that you have been more than transparent in all your dealings with the park business. I so appreciate how you bring everything forward and you do the best job that you can. And I honestly don't feel that you were at fault in any way, that you were doing a service for the park residents. And if everyone would do a service for their neighbors and their park residents, then we'd be so much better off. And I think we need to bring this forward also.
Thanks, Jackie. Okay, Jim,
And I-
go ahead. Oh,
And
go
I
ahead.
second that. As a full-time resident, the caretaker on our court leaves out the bags. And as a full-time resident, after every storm, I go and relocate all the bags to the proper area. So I would like to see it brought back.
Okay, go ahead, Jim.
Okay.
One quick rebuttal. Okay, George, I didn't say that what the complaint was about. And my problem with the way this came about is the fact that it was done outside of approval of the trustees, which is the normal way to do things. When we're putting in a new, I have to call it a process, even though the board hasn't put it, because that's what it's going to end up being. The board needs to approve it before a trustee does it. Well, and Sean is a great caretaker, okay? I see him all the time at the house next to me. I know what he does, okay? And that's how I know what you do, Sean, because I see you. You do a great job. I'm not demeaning you in any way. It's just the way it happened. If it had happened before and the trustees had approved it before, I'd have absolutely no problem with it. But because you're a trustee, you're supposed to be lily white, all right?
All right, people, come on.
Come on.
It's entitled to her opinion.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. Okay, Jim.
I did it quick. Jim Oliver, 6566 Greenview Court. Sean, God bless you for having the fortitude to do it the way you did it. You went through Vicky like you're supposed to. I'm not saying if that's 100% right or 100% wrong, but it's the first time it's been done, except I've been here since 2012, and except Vicky, every park manager we've had, I've had that same conversation with. I've never had to pay a nickel, although I offered to pay for one dumpster per year because I use it a lot. Problem is, I don't charge anybody anything. And I also pick up cul-de-sacs and I pick up stuff on the side of the road, and that's neither here nor there with what I'm going with this. We do, as you can see, we need something in place. The last meeting, the workshop, I was up in Michigan watching, and it was said and said again tonight that dumpster's for anybody in the park. Well, you just open a can of worms, that's going to be filled up every week when people get back here with yard waste. You can't do that.
I didn't say, I said it was open. I said there's nothing in our rules that says residents cannot use that. But
Right.
I also added the caveat that you have to talk with the district manager before you do that.
It's been said 3 or 4 times without the district manager's name being in there. What I'm saying is, I've been doing it all along. I've always asked, the only reason why I haven't asked Vicky is because she became park manager while I was still in Michigan. I talked to her, congratulated her. But I didn't get a chance to talk to her, and I would have when I come back, because I do pick up stuff and throw it in there. I don't do the yards like I used to do. I can't do it anymore, but I never charged anybody a nickel because I felt, as being a member of Holiday Park, I was helping some of the older people out. You've got I'm going to call it a business, although that's taboo. You know, we're not allowed to have businesses in here, but it's a necessary business. Don, I don't know if you still do, but you used to do,
It's a service. I call
right,
it a
and
service.
you even bought a special dumpster.
Yes.
Yes, it's a good service for the park, but I'm glad that you were able to, I didn't know that there was a formal, I knew there was a formal complaint, but I didn't know what it was. But I think it needs to come out because I don't see anything wrong with it. Once you guys agree to it, I don't see nothing wrong with it. Problem is, like Bob said, it says employees only right now, and that doesn't, I go by there, I've only been back 2 days, and there was a big pile of stuff that was out there that I threw it up in the dumpster. I know Dave didn't leave it there. Somebody did. I threw it up in the dumpster. So you need to get something going, but my hat's off to you. A little long on the, I'm glad you wrote all that down because I'd have never remembered it all, but I think you handled it the right way, and I think it's something that the Board of Trustees needs to really look over, because it would be nice if we could throw our stuff in there, pay for it, if it would help us. Because a lot of times, these older people, they just leave it lay on the ground because they don't have no way to even put it in a bag. It's too big for them. So I just wanted to say, I think you did a great job on what you did. And Vicki will work with you guys, and whatever you decide, I think we need to definitely implement something.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Carol Clinch, 5014 Polina. Sean, I want to say that I commend you for not taking the complaint personal. Because to me, there are some statements in there that I would have taken personal. How much you make is nobody's business but yours. There are, the way that you have handled this and brought your rebuttal, it just is amazing, and it's such a good thing to have our chairman handle this particular complaint in this fashion. You've done a fabulous job with it.
Thank you. We don't need to clear it. All right, with thank you. Any other comments? Okay, we're going to move on then. You'll be seeing this, and there's definitely more work, has been stated. There's a lot more work to be done around this, but it will be forthcoming. We have no supplemental items tonight.
I actually do.
Oh,
It came in late.
okay.
So my apologies.
Well,
My apologies. So this does have to do with the future pavilion, Bob. The Merlin Hopkins that's on the future pavilion committee, he was having some difficulty getting some information that he needed for the city of Northport. City of Northport, of course, is requiring that a site development plan be put in place that is done by the city of Northport for the future pavilion. And so he has provided me with an invoice for that work to be completed by the city of Northport, which does include site development plan for the Environmental Protection Fund. It is the site developmental plan for fire and rescue, as well as road and drainage, utilities, planning and zoning. It's all line itemed out, and the total amount for the site development plan work by the city of Northport is $6,300. We just received that this evening before the meeting this evening. So I just wanted to make sure that on Merlin's behalf that I presented this as a supplemental to the board.
So we need to vote on this, is what you're saying, accept it, and because it's going to be something we have to pay for, right?
Yeah.
Out of those funds, and actually.
Out of our pavilion funds.
And the funds themselves are not owned by the board. This is, as we've stated many times. However, the fact that the work is being done does need to be covered by the board.
Yes.
A vote. And so Merlin is submitting this as the head of that committee. He's expecting us, that's my question to you, is he expecting us to accept this so that it can be paid?
Yes, yes, he is.
Is this work has been done yet, or?
It has not been done yet.
Okay.
There is
So it's
still
something-
some information that the city is requiring, which is why he got me involved, to be able to pull certain documents for their site development plan to be able to get all this in place.
So he wants to move forward with this.
Yes, he does.
Bob, is it too soon to be doing this, in your opinion, or is it something that we should?
This is all new to me. I didn't know anything about this was going on. I feel I'm being left out on some of this stuff, and I'm going to make a phone call.
So we have a choice here, board. We can accept this and they can move forward, allow Merlin and the committee to move forward with this, or we can hold it until our next meeting, which is a month away, and approve it then. Since we're all getting hit, you know.
I'll go along with whatever the committee, the Board of Trustees goes along with, but I think there's a couple things that need to be done before, but there again, I'm just one person.
Since it includes the utility element that we have no clue on, why would we pay for a site visit for them to tell us that we don't have a clue about the utilities that are needed for this project?
That's my point.
It just seems like we're going to have to pay for another site visit because they're going to come back and say, we don't know these things. And
Well, if
don't
we
know these-"
approve the money, or if we approve the, as detailed here, the plan, we can say we're not ready to implement it though, right? It doesn't mean that they're gonna come right out here and start doing it, does it?
I don't have an answer for that because I don't even know that this has been brought to the Future Pavilion Committee.
All right, so in that case, I think we should put it off. We're gonna put it off for a month. We'll talk about it, bring more information to our workshop, our next workshop, and then we'll vote on it at the next meeting.
See, one thing that was discussed at our last meeting about this was the electrical situation. And the city's telling us we need, or Florida Power is telling us we need an electrician. Okay, that hasn't been done yet. We don't even know if we can get the power we need to cover the boutique, Phase 2 building, and the pavilion.
Yes, and what the board needs is to know is, even though our project money will pay for that work to be done, who's going to lead it up? Is it going to be the pavilion group taking that forward and getting the contractors in here and you know, or is it something that we need someone else to step up to do? And, you know, we haven't had any of that discussion yet to figure out how this project
We
is
do
going
have
to
an
happen.
electrician on the committee, and he stated a couple times of what we need and what we need to look at, but that's as far as it's went.
Okay. I mean, I know nothing about this, but I think that from a top-down perspective, you got to have the electrician involved. You need to have some type of plan of what the needs are for all those items you just mentioned. Everything basically over there on the compound Phase 2, that area, including the lighting for the pool. All that has to be considered in line item, and then that has to go to a contractor, and we need to get probably 3 bids, and if we can find 3 contractors willing to bid, and then come back at that point. So
Well,
that all has to be done first.
Another thing that I've heard tonight that I've not really heard in any of our meetings is the pool lighting.
Yes, that has to be included. So all those buildings over there, the power coming in, how many lines of power do we have coming in? Is it all just one line? Is it multiple lines? We have boxes in each of those buildings. I've heard some say that some of the boxes in the building need to be upgraded. There's a lot of work possibly that needs to be done, and all that should be in one plan and done at one time.
And I hope, and I sincerely hope that when the residents all get back, they realize the importance of progressing with this at a reasonable rate, but I see no money's coming in.
Well, I think I've talked to some residents myself, and I don't know if anyone else has, but what I keep hearing from people is that I don't want to, I have money, I want to give money, but I'm not willing to do it until I see a couple things. One is I see a plan in place that explains what's going to be done, and 2, there's a timetable around that plan, so I know that if I give money, it's not gonna sit in the bank for 2 years before it's used. Those are the things I keep hearing. So I think if we have a plan and we can get it out here in the lobby, we can start, maybe put a thermostat next to it that says, this is our goal and this is where we're at, and people can start giving and make it very visual and make it a park project, and I think people will start giving. So there's my 2 cents. All right, so we're gonna move on. Trustee comments, any other comments? Oh, not yet. Trustee comments first. Any other comments on anything? Go ahead.
Okay, here we go. Unbeknownst to us, probably 3-4 weeks ago, I was notified by a resident that their new home site plan had been rejected by the city. Yeah, it's going to be a while. The city is now back to October of '24. They removed Article 4, or Article 12, which covered this park as a manufactured home park. They removed their 15-foot front setback that they just implemented to 20 feet. So this is what we found out so far. I'm going to turn it over to Vicki because she's actually been very successful in getting someone from the city to talk to her. I have not.
But you have to leave their number.
It's that Carmella training.
Okay, so once this was brought to our attention through a new owner, their permit being denied by the city, and they had to, go through some modifications to their site plan to be able to get that approved. Of course, reached directly out to the city. Our initial contact, which was provided to me by Tim, and once I was able to reach him with the city permitting office, he gave me and transferred me over to his supervisor that is very familiar with Holiday Park. So in that communication, he did explain that the October 2024 document that was adopted by the city with the new permitting, specifically for us, there was a lot of changes that happened throughout the community because of all the new developments, but specifically for Holiday Park, it affected us and the mobile home community is how they have it in their permitting document. I believe it's the Unified Land Development Code, and in a mobile home community, the setback that was affected was the 20-foot setback, changed from 15. That was primarily meant, they will not put this in writing, they will not do an exemption for our park, but that was primarily meant for any new developments coming into Northport. Okay, so how they are handling this with our community is that where there are lots that new homes are going on, where they can be in compliant with the 20-foot rule, that is their plan as a permit division. However, the lots that we have that come before them that are going to be very difficult for them to meet that 20-foot setback, they are going back to our 1971 established documents with that setback. With that being said, I am still waiting for a confirmation from him what that setback was in 1971, so that we're not making any guesses as to what that is. Is it the 10 feet? Is it, there could be an assumption that's 10, but I don't know what that is just yet.
I think back then it was 10, because while I was chairperson of that committee, that's when they changed it from the 10 to the 15.
But that is what they're deferring back to, is the 1971 establishment of Holiday Park.
So if that's the case, then our 15-foot setback would still be valid, because that is what we've decided in our park. So, all right, so more to come.
We decided that because we couldn't be less stringent than the city. But if they're going to go back to the 10-foot,
We'd have to change our documents.
I believe we should go back to the 10-foot also. Another thing we need to consider.
But I think it's in our deed restrictions, so that means a big change in our deed restrictions. That's always a big problem.
I couldn't find our setbacks in the deed restrictions.
It's there, I'll get it to you.
Well, the ones I got in this book, it's not there. I looked before we came tonight. Another thing we really need to start looking at is where did the 16-foot in the clear come from on carports? With the new homes coming in that are now being required to be higher off the ground, you don't have 2 steps going up in your home. Generally, you got 5. And some of these new homes, their front door, there's no way you can get to 16 feet. So we really need to start looking at too, and I can't find that in the deed restrictions. So I'm just throwing that out there for something for us to start looking at.
Okay, well, work with our office.
You don't know how much time we've got into a unit in here, a resilient unit, that we have an enormous amount of time put into the committee that we finally got her unit in here for, within all our restrictions.
Okay,
It shouldn't be that hard.
no, what? All right, that's somewhere where we got to work
I have something to say
on.
about this subject
Yes.
before you go. Nancy Selo, 6893 Amoco Court. So the 15 feet took effect July of last year, and that was part of Article 12 that we did in our research. And at that same time, the commission was also meeting on this Unified Development Land Code that they voted on 3 weeks later. After the 15-foot went into effect, they voted to change it to 20, and that took effect October 28th of last year. So they said Article 12 no longer exists. So that 15-foot mark no longer exists for us either. I
Okay.
think we just have to go by whatever the city decides they're going to allow
Well,
somebody
once
for
we get
setback.
through all of the investigative work, we're going to have to relook at our rules and see what needs to change, and then go from there.
Part of it goes through the county also.
Okay, go ahead, Kathy.
Kathy Bachman, 6345 Fantasy Court. I want to start off by saying the purpose of Age Park is to plan and organize park activities and serve as advisors to the activity leaders. As of today, keeping in mind that at the October meeting, our nominations should come in. As of today, there are 3 positions without any nominations. President. The president presides over all council meetings, has general charge and supervision of the affairs of the council, works with the office staff with facility reservations, prepares annual budgets with the assistance of the treasurer, provides reports to trustees per bylaws in addition to other miscellaneous duties. There is no nominee for that position. Second vice president oversees dinners, potlucks, ice cream socials, pig races, health fairs, among other things. There is no nominee for this position. Beautification helps make Holiday Park aesthetically pleasing to all with the planting and care of the flower pots you see on common ground. There is no nominee for this position. I don't know, but that tells me we could be losing a lot of activities because there is nobody to oversee, to take charge, and to make sure things happen. So I just am asking all residents, those that are streaming, those that are here, talk to your neighbors. We need some nominees for these positions. I can't say what's going to happen if we don't get them. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Any other comments from our residents? All right. I'll look for a motion to adjourn. We have a motion from Tim, second from Bob. To adjourn, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone.